I still remember that night, the night I saw that figure in the corner. It was late, maybe a little after midnight. The small apartment I shared with my father seemed quieter than usual. I sat in the bedroom, hunched over an old computer, scrolling through meaningless websites. My father was in the next room. We shared this cramped space because neither of us could afford to live separately at the time. The walls were so thin that I could hear him shifting in bed, the occasional clearing of his throat or a tired cough. I put on my headphones, turned on some music but not too loud so as not to disturb him. It had been a long day, but tonight, I didn't want to sleep. The desk was pushed up against the wall, and the small bed was right behind me, taking up most of the room. Clothes were piled in the corner, and the curtains were half drawn, letting a faint ray of moonlight shine through, casting a ghostly glow on the floor. I was about to turn off my computer when I heard a sound from outside the room. A voice. Soft as a muffled whisper, calling my name. I paused the music. My heart rate increased involuntarily. Maybe it was just an illusion. But no, the sound repeated, soft but clear. I took off my headphones, listening. My eyes were fixed on the bedroom door. The apartment was old, with peeling paint, dusty corners. The door frame was slightly askew, so it sometimes got stuck. I stood up, feeling a chill run down my arm as my hand touched the cold knob. Taking a deep breath, I turned the knob and slowly opened the door, expecting to see my father standing there. But the hallway was empty. The dim ceiling light flickered weakly, creating shaky patches of light on the tile floor. I walked out, slowly, feeling as if someone was watching from somewhere in the darkness. The living room to the left contained only an old couch and a coffee table piled with newspapers. The air smelled of mold, a mixture of time and neglect. Another sound. A soft rustle, like fabric scraping against the floor. I froze. The noise came from the corner of the living room, closest to the window. The corner was dark, the streetlights outside casting only a faint glow on the floor. I strained to see into the darkness. And then I saw it. A small figure, hunched over the floor. Arms folded, head bowed. I held my breath. My body tensed. The thing was dressed in a tattered old nightgown, the fabric hanging loosely around an unnatural shape. Its arms and legs were too thin, too long for a human. Its hair, if it could be called hair, was disheveled, hanging down, blending into the surrounding darkness. I wanted to scream, but my voice was stuck in my throat. I couldn't move. Only my heart was pounding in my chest, trying to escape. And then it moved. Not in the usual way. Its head jerked to the side, fast, urgent, with a small crack, like a bone snapping. I wanted to turn and run back to my room, to close the door, but I couldn't move. The icy cold pierced my spine. Then it was gone. No sound. No movement. In an instant, the figure was gone. I stood there, paralyzed. The room was so quiet I could hear my own shaky breathing. Trembling, I turned on the living room light. The dim light fell on the old chair, the cluttered coffee table. Nothing in the corner. Not a trace. My father's door creaked open. He frowned at me, asking why I'd turned on the light. I swallowed, feeling my heart pounding in my chest. I said I thought I saw a shadow, maybe a mouse. My father just muttered something about going to bed early and went back to his room, closing the door. For him, strange noises in the apartment were nothing new. But I was different. I knew I'd seen something. Over the next few days, I tried to return to my normal life. But every time I passed the living room, I felt an invisible fear clinging to me. I started turning on the lights more often, even during the day. My father teased me about the electricity bill, but I didn't care. The memory of that night wouldn't let me go. Sometimes, when I was alone in the apartment, I'd hear faint noises coming from the living room. Maybe it was the old pipes. Maybe it was my imagination. But every time I heard it, I would stop and listen. A sense of unease crept into the crevices of my thoughts. I knew no one would believe me. And maybe I didn't want them to. Because if what I saw was real, that meant it was still there. It never left.